Morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Today, I'm going to take you on this adventure with me to do the chores that Delana normally does every day by herself. Sometimes she would get some help from our oldest daughter, Megan, but as some of you may know, she's in Thailand right now. And our son, he helps sometimes with watching the kids, but he's not available today. Delana is actually feeling under the weather. We just got over COVID like over a week ago. At least we thought we did, and she started running the temperature day before yesterday. And so now we don't really know what's going on. We're gonna go take her to the urgent care later on and just get that checked out, because she took a at-home COVID test and it came back negative, but we don't really know what's going on. But yeah, she's not doing well, but she's going to be taking me along and showing me how to do the chores that she does, just in case I need to be filling in. So this is going to be interesting, and I'm not a great milker. I've tried it with the goats, and for some reason these hands are good for a lot of things, but milking animals doesn't seem to be one of them. So we're gonna see how this goes, and we're gonna just hope and pray that Delana gets better very, very quickly. But I'll see if I can get her to film while I'm doing some of it, so that you guys can see what all goes into the morning chores here. And yes, it's cold. It is I think like in the teens this morning. Luckily the snow the last couple of days has melted off a little bit, so we're able to drive the van back instead of carry all the stuff back there, because we have hoses for watering, we have buckets for the milk supplies and the milk itself, and so instead of carrying all that out and carrying it all back, we're just going to drive back there and make it a little bit easier on ourselves since we can. But all right, I'll let you go for now, and we'll catch up in a little bit. Okay, so first part of the chores, we're going to be taking care of the chickens. With me, I got two buckets. I got a bucket of warm water, and then a bucket of some scraps and food that we've put together for them. One important thing, I'm going to shut this electric fence off, because if you don't, it will make sure that you're woke up. Not a fun experience. If you've never been hit by an electric fence, try it. You might like it. I don't know. There's some different people out there, and I don't like it. It reminds me of light sockets and stuff when I was younger. So, but what's up, girls and guy? I'm not forgetting about you. But there's our chicks, and they're still not laying anything. So right now they're just eating and making it through the cold like we are. Yeah, no eggs, but good fertilizer. So all right, I'm gonna have to drop this phone so I can do what I need to do with their food. So one other exciting thing that we had done recently is back behind me. There's this big old pile of compost. Our soil, we did a soil test on it, and it's not great. We actually are going to need to do a lot to it. So this spring, when we go to plant, we're going to have to layer with compost. We're going to have to be making our own bedding and stuff. And like Delana's got behind me, she built some compost bins, and we got some mulch. And so we're going to be making some of our own compost and doing that stuff. And luckily, with all the animals that we have, goats, cow, chickens, they create fertilizer from the food that they eat. So we're going to try to use all this stuff to make our soil good, so that it'll benefit us and our animals, and just keep that cycle good for us. So babe, how you feeling?
Not great.
Yeah, we thought we were all done with the sickness when we got done with COVID, and now we got another one sick here. So we're just trying to see what we got to do. But that's one thing on the farm and homesteading, is that this stuff doesn't stop. I mean, the animals need attention whether you feel like it or not. And so she's been gritting it out through the COVID and everything, when all of us were resting, and she was still putting in her time Now it's time for us to kind of swap roles on that, and I'm gonna try to help her out. I'm not a milker though. You guys will see I'm probably one of the worst milkers ever. But we got a machine and we got the master. So even though she's not feeling good, she'll probably be able to pick up any slack that I got. But we're gonna go out here and get this going. Yes, I am coming. Okay.
The soaked grain is frozen, so I'm scooping it out of here.
Okay. Soaked grain is frozen. So what we got here is we got some grain mixed with some alfalfa, black oil sunflower seeds, and then some beet pellets. So this is what we're gonna be giving Miss Copper. We feed the cats, we feed the dog, we get some grain to treat the goats into the pen, and then over there in that black feeder is what we're gonna give to Copper as we're milking. So there's Miss Copper over there. So what we're doing, we're just letting the goats into this little catch pen here because they're gonna hang out while we milk Miss Copper over there, and they're not gonna be all in the way.
And this gets them ready for the spring when they're in milk.
Yes, this is kind of a training.
Get their routine
down.
So they know what to expect.
And they got our milking stanchion over there underneath a lot of that stuff. But yeah, see, they already know the routine here. It's time to eat some grain, and they're gonna push and fight over who's gonna get in there and get some, and it's just the way it works. But once they're in there, they're in there. And then we feed Hank. Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure I watch it after I put it in there.
Okay. There you go. Okay. So all of them are taken care of. Hi, Hank. What's up, pup? Yeah, good boy. He's been a great herd guardian. So there's Miss Copper. We're gonna get to working on her. Okay, so while we're getting all this stuff ready, we're filling up the water. Dog's eating. Goats are chilling for now. Miss Copper, she knows what time it is. She's ready to get a routine going. So
these are labeled. You can't see this one because it's washed off, but this is a number 2.
Okay.
This is 3.
Uh-huh.
So
and people, were filming this somewhat for me to remember if I need to do this on my own. And also just to kind of show you what Delana has been doing every day for, how long have we had Copper?
over 2 months now.
Okay, so over the last 8 weeks with bitter cold and snow, and so.
Okay. So taped on the ends of these hoses.
Uh-huh.
Keep this propped up there. You don't want to get it dirty.
Yep.
There's a 1 and a 3. The 3 goes in here.
Okay.
You're going to want to put them on and try to get them as close to fully on as possible.
Okay.
And then this goes on the 1.
Okay, and they're all marked.
This actually looks a little frozen. Okay. Hopefully that ends up okay. I haven't had that happen.
Okay.
And then this is the number 2 line.
Okay.
So this is the only one. It'll connect from here to here.
Okay.
So it goes in the center here, and then in number 2 here.
Okay. And the reason why we don't want to get any of this mixed up because it has to do with the suction and the cleanliness of the machine.
Yes.
Okay.
It will not operate without it. just get everything ready.
So how do you do all this by yourself?
It's not hard.
Okay.
It really isn't. You get into a rhythm.
Well, I'm impressed by your rhythm.
Oh.
Seems like a lot.
The more you do it, it becomes habit. And I have forgotten things, little steps here and there, but...
On some days you choose to hand milk instead of using the milk
I
machine.
prefer to hand milk, but I did something to my wrist and I'm not sure what.
Yeah.
And right now I don't think I have the strength anyway. But I prefer to hand milk, and honestly, most days I feel like hand milking goes faster.
Okay. Maybe for you.
Right, yeah. I mean, it did not at first. At first, it took me a good hour to milk her, and I thought my hands were gonna die. But now that I'm used to it, at 20-30 minutes on a slow day, if there's 2 people out here, we can get it done in about 10 or 15 minutes. As long as 2 people can milk 2 teats, and then yeah, it's really fast.
Yeah. And she said if people can milk 2 teats, I'm not. I usually will have to focus on one and then come back and hit the other.
Right. Which makes it longer, but as long as it gets done. Okay, so I have hot. Normally I just do hot water, but the betadine froze. So I did hot soapy water, and I'm gonna clean off her teats with that, and I'll show you in stripper and everything. We need to go get the grain at this point, or the...
Okay, I'm gonna go get that.
Feed.
Okay, so Delena's gonna let her in and move her to the front of this catch pen. She's going straight for the food. She knows what time it is.
So she knows her routine.
She's gonna lock her neck in.
Scoot back, girl. Scoot back.
And so our little stanchion just kind of built into our structure here, and she does good with it. And so even though she took the food away, she's gonna eat the hay. Delena's gonna get herself into position to clean.
Always put her tail up, because if she pees or whatever, then she's got a way to lift her tail.
Okay.
Otherwise, you see this from actually her old place.
Okay.
It's been too cold for me to wash her. Come on.
Yes.
Latch it in.
Okay. So we just got that to keep her little hind end from moving too much. She's a big girl, so.
She likes to scoot around.
Yep.
I bring hot water, hot water, all the way hot, because by the time it gets out here, it cools a little bit. Okay, so I'm just gonna wiping her to almost like soften any dirt or anything. Then I'm gonna wait a minute. At this point, normally I would do the betadine.
But the betadine is frozen,
Right.
even with it being inside of our house.
With the betadine, I usually wait about half a minute, so it sterilizes everything. But since I'm using soap, it'll do similar. I'm just gonna scrub it really good. I don't wring it fully out, it's pretty good. Now at that point, get all the way around. If I'm hand milking, I usually get up higher because I'm grabbing more of her teat, but she's only gonna have this much. But I like to keep her clean. With black udders, you really have to make sure this bottom part is clean because dirt can hide. More so than other colors of cows. Okay. Then I'm gonna fully dry with a clean rag. The rag's always here.
So we got a little setup where we got some of the spare stuff we need.
So I dry her real good, and she's clean. So then what I do is I'll just leave this for my wash rag the next time. So I'm using one new rag a day.
Okay.
I get a clean one for really drying good, but this is still pretty clean. It's just damp. And
yes.
It'll dry out and then I'll use it.
Gotcha.
Then I do usually 5 or 6 squirts. In each teat. And I check for any sort of flakes or whatever. If you see some sort of little like globs, if you rub them between your fingers, if they kind of disintegrate, it's actually fat that's kind of solidified a little bit in the milk. But if it's hard and doesn't kind of melt like that, like butter, then it could be a sign that she's beginning to get mastitis. So that's why I check every day.
Yeah.
Haven't had any issues. She's been great. Now, okay, I turn the green button on.
Uh-huh.
I let it run for a few seconds. I pinch squeeze so that it starts to suction.
Right.
So it stops the suction here, and then I place it up on her feet.
And open it. Okay.
Hold them up here for a few seconds to get the suction process going. So I always hold on to them up here so she can't just pick them and drag them off.
Okay.
Sometimes she will pick. She doesn't
Okay.
like this and as much as me milking.
Okay.
But she's not let down yet, and she doesn't let down near as fast. With machine milking, you can see she's starting to do. This one she always takes longer.
Okay.
But she carries most of her milk in this teat for some reason. So a lot of times I can go through the other 3 in about the same amount of time as this one.
Wow. Okay. Sorry about the camera. I had to get a glove on. My hand was freezing. So one thing with hand milking when it's really cold out is you get to warm yourself up on her udders.
Yeah. It really helps.
Yeah, because this building that we're in, it's just a 3-sided structure. A lot of it's just storage for stuff right now. We moved in earlier this last year, in the middle of this last year, and so we're still working on getting everything where we want it. But it looks like, I don't know if you guys can tell, but it's pumping pretty good there. So
if I need to move for any reason, I
Uh-huh.
put this right around here to keep it hot.
okay. So she looks like she moves her feed and her hay around to get what she wants.
She tries to pick out her favorite stuff.
Yeah, like everybody.
Irritated. You don't want to ever leave when she's missing milking. And you have to keep a close eye. You'll start to be able to tell when her udder gets smaller. But when it starts to get smaller, you're going to have to keep a real good eye and pinch this off when it stops flowing milk. Because it's uncomfortable for her.
And she might try to kick it off or something.
She's got it in this hand.
Okay. And so you might not be able to pick it up on the or this camera might not be able to pick it up, but you can just see some liquid flowing through the hose just a little bit where it comes out. And then obviously the hoses have movement to them, but sometimes you just got to learn as you go too. I'm sure you learned that the bag gets a little bit smaller when it's close to empty. And if you need to do anything else and you want me to hold that, I can.
No, how's the water?
Looks like the water's getting there. So yeah, that's our 60-gallon water trough. So we probably let it go for another minute or so.
Getting really loose and squishy.
Okay.
So she's getting close to being done.
Okay, so she's getting close to being done on that first one. So Delena's gonna pinch that one off so the suction lowers on that front one, and it's concentrated just on the back one. And then you switch it to the other side. Okay, so you don't do any hand milking at all when you use the machine.
Other than the very beginning and the very end to strip her out.
The cream.
No, well, no. Strip her machine milking, you just don't quite get as much, and so you hand strip them afterwards, kind of to make sure that, I don't know how to explain it, I guess, but to get any remaining milk out that's left, and to make sure that no bacteria got up in there when it's all out.
Okay, gotcha. So it's kind of like cleaning the udder out completely.
Wrinkling up.
Yes.
So now I watch this closely. When there comes a point when no milk is coming through, that's when I'll pinch it.
Okay. Because if not, she doesn't like it. And I can kind of hear the air being pulled through.
Yeah.
And you can actually see it from our end.
Now she's starting to look for cream.
Okay.
I mean, I just know it from so many times doing it.
Yeah, so the cream comes after the milk, if you guys don't know. That's some of the last stuff the cows let down, and her milk is very creamy, so we usually will separate that and then have the cream in our coffee, or make whatever Delena makes out of it. She's got a lot of stuff she does. And is there any ill effect if you don't get all the cream out?
No, you just strip her at the end. What happens is if you don't milk her all the way, then just like a human mama, if there's less demand on her supply, she produces less. Her body will automatically accumulate. So if a baby or a cow, or like when you're milking, isn't taking all of it, then she starts producing less.
Okay, so to keep production up, you want to get everything out of her.
I'll switch it to the other udder, and once I switch it I'll turn unhook the suction, so that now it's suctioning again.
Okay. Okay, so the milk machine kind of quit working. We think it's freezing up in inside the hose.
Little connectors.
Yeah, like those little Y connections there.
It's
so
really cold, y'all.
yeah, it's super cold. I don't know what the actual temperature is, but the wind chill makes it even worse. So
yeah, I think it's like 1 degree right now, and I think wind chill is -9, or at least that's what my weather app said this morning.
that's no fun. So we're gonna just finish up hand milking. You can see that front one actually got really drained out, and then that back one's still bagged up pretty good. So what Delana does is she just kind of holds it, and we're gonna get in here and get it done. So I'm gonna give her feed. We mix that stuff up that we told you earlier: alfalfa, beet pellets, a little bit of grain, or oats, sorry, and then the black oil, sunflower seeds, and then we put a little bit of water in it. So she's gonna get that now, and then we're gonna just finish by hand milking. Yeah.
Roll over and make sure it tightens.
You do what?
Make sure it tightens over it so this doesn't
Okay.
swing. I don't want it to swing.
Okay. So we finished hand milking. It went fairly fast. Miss Copper doesn't want to necessarily get away from her food. And the cat's trying to get in on the milk.
Yes, they really do.
I don't blame them. Okay, so we're just disconnecting all the hoses.
Put it down there like that. I put my wash balm in here. I'll go ahead and put this in here. I give that to the cats.
Okay. And that's just what you stripped at first?
Yeah.
To make sure there wasn't any chunks or mastitis.
Yep. Cats love it. Okay. Then what I do, this is not very full.
Well, because we got milk there, and then we got a bucket of milk over there. There's probably at least I don't know, I'm guessing a gallon.
Where's our food dish?
I got it right up here.
Oh. All right, so then we'll...
So here's the problem with having a cow, even with us drinking a lot of milk, we have a lot of extra. So it's not a bad problem, but Delana hasn't made cheese this week because she hasn't been feeling great and hadn't had time. So we're running out of jars, at least the big jars. Because putting it in a bunch of little jars is not very efficient, but we will work through this problem probably by making cheese and drinking more milk and giving some away if we need to.
Bring some...
Well, you guys want some hay? You gonna go ahead and open them up? Okay, so back in the house after doing chores. It's pretty amazing how much my wife does all on her own. It definitely was something that if I had to wake up and do it every day, I would need an extra cup of coffee or something to get me going. It is really, really cold outside. My hands were going numb, and honestly, milking the cow by hand helped my hands have feeling again. I'm gonna run some food down to our dry storage, but then we're gonna be done for today. So thanks for joining along. I know I told you guys that I was gonna be doing a lot of it, but she was teaching me, so you guys are getting the tutorial that I'll probably re-watch when it comes time for me to do the chores on my own. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time.